McKittrick Farmers Mercantile. Local foods, weekend restaurant and market. Banquet and luncheon hall. Entertainment venue and local education classes. www.themerc.com.
Good morning and welcome once again to another episode of Joey's Experimental Kitchen. Today, one more time, we are going to talk about tofu. And then I promise I won't talk to you about it again for weeks. But tofu is just such a versatile and healthy form of protein to serve your family. And kids like it when you prepare it properly. You can substitute almost anything with tofu. Just ask my son. Today we are going to make one of our favorites, tofu barbecue. And this is like a skillet barbecue tofu. You can also make delicious tofu sloppy joes by just crumbling your tofu up in the pan. But first I'm going to show you the sliced fried tofu method. All you have to do is take a package of the, again, firm tofu. You can usually always buy organic tofu, which is nice because you don't have to worry about being made with genetically modified soybeans. So that's what we like to use here. Take your tofu, drain the water off, and slice it. Let me grab a knife real quick. I slice this usually about, a 1/4 inch thick. If you get it too thick, it'll just take too long to cook. If your tofu is very wet, or if you're using tofu that you've had stored in fresh water in your refrigerator, you might pat it dry between a couple of paper towels. But this has already been draining a little bit, so it doesn't need that. Then I put about, a little healthy squirt of olive oil in my pan. Place the tofu slices in there. And let them brown for a bit. I got one more. Now there's a lot of moisture in these tofu, so they're going to take a couple of seconds to brown there. And sometimes I've done this in the oven, but to me they just taste a little bit tastier on top of the stove like this. Maybe because I use more oil when I cook them on the stove, but if you want them to be a little less fat, you can put them in the oven and drizzle them with a little olive oil as well. Either way, you'll want to cook them here. You can also put tofu on your grill. If you've got your barbecue grill going, you can baste it with a little bit of your marinade and just cook it right on the grill, just like you would in hamburgers or chicken fillets or fish or anything. In that case, you might want to make slightly bigger slices so it doesn't fall through the grate. But some people even make smoked tofu. Just take a little bit of teriyaki marinade, which is soy sauce, ginger, garlic, sherry. Marinate your tofu slices in that, and then put them in your smoker for a lot less time than you would the meat, maybe 5 minutes or so, and you'll have delicious teriyaki smoked tofu. But today, as I said, we're making stovetop tofu barbecue. So, can you see how those are getting kind of golden brown? They don't have to be very brown, but my family likes them a little crispy. Bringing these over here. Just letting them cook a little bit longer. So, basically, that is it. Maybe I should show you how to make the tofu sloppy joes as well, since I have the pan going here. Now, if I wanted to make the tofu sloppy joes here, I could just toss a little bit of the onions, some vegetables, because I always like to give my family lots of vegetables, and some diced carrots. And saute those along with the tofu. If you want it to cook a little bit faster, just put a lid on there. Glass lid, because putting a lid on top of your pan helps it cook faster by trapping in a lot of the heat and steam and cooking it from the top and bottom. So, you can hear it sizzling. It doesn't take long. Keep an eye on it because it can burn, and if your family doesn't like the scorched flavor, you don't want that to happen. So once it looks like your tofu is all toasty golden brown as you like it on each side, Then I just take a little bit of the prepared barbecue sauce. This is purchased from our local microbrewery, the Tin Mill. It is actually quite tasty. And then, in order to keep that from scorching, I sometimes add a little bit of extra beer or just ordinary water. Let that simmer for a little while until I can get everyone to come to the table and actually sit down to eat. I'll put the lid on there and let that simmer while I get the rest of the food ready. So, how do you serve this barbecue tofu? Just like you would any ordinary sloppy joe or barbecue sandwich. I'm just going to serve mine on a slice of nice homemade sourdough bread here today. So, there you have it. Delicious stovetop barbecue tofu. Yummy! Enjoy! And thanks for coming back again to Joey's Experimental Kitchen.